Hello and welcome. My name is Stefan Poschig from CHC Corporate Health Consulting, and we help coaches, trainers, and consultants grow their revenue and multiply their income. So today you are listening to the newest CHC expert session, and I have a super interesting guest on my interview because he created already a couple of companies. He's handling different ventures at one time. And so I'm really interested and curious what he's going to tell us, how he's doing this. So welcome, Jason Franklin. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, Stefan, thank you so much for having us here today. Again, Jason Franklin, and I don't think we could be much further apart. So I believe you're still over in Santorini. I'm down here in Houston, Texas, the mecca of oil and free speech. Anyways, thank you again for having us on. So again, my name is Jason Franklin, and I own and operate the Franklin Realty Group, which is a team of agents working in both commercial and residential real estate in the Texas market. In addition to that, we have a investment and property flipping company, which is actually blowing up right now. We've got about $1 million in properties under construction at the moment. And then in addition to that, we came up with a groundbreaking idea, going to revolutionize the real estate market. We're starting in Texas, then expanding to the continental U.S. And this is something that would work very, very well, not just in the continental U.S., but eventually we want to take this global. So it's going to be great. And that's rift.com, REIFT. But we can get a little bit more into that later.
Definitely, we will. So this brings me right to my first question. So you are having so many different things. So what is driving you as an entrepreneur?
Wow, that's a big question to unpack. Honestly, I worked for the man for years, right? I worked in corporate environments, and I think a lot of what you're doing at CHC did not exist nearly as much as it should back when I was in that corporate environment, and your only value was what you had created last week, right? And there was no long-term dedication to the employee. But again, I worked in what in the United States we call big box retail, so like major large companies, national companies, and when I left that company, they gave me a plaque with a hatchet, with an axe on it, because that was my job. Because I would go in, I would take the store, I would rip it apart, rebuild it, hire everybody in new, get rid of the people that weren't worth anything, that weren't doing their job, and then I would go on to the next store because I got bored. Right? I'm not a normal 9-to-5 sit at the desk. If you told me I had to be an accountant, I would shoot myself. So I think for me, entrepreneurship in the converse to what everyone else thinks of is I love the question mark.
Okay.
Right. I've got a very good friend who has a fantastic job here in the Houston area. So as most people know, Houston is the epicenter of space exploration for the United States. So Johnson Space Center, like Houston, we have a problem, right? Apollo 13. So I've got tons of friends that work at NASA, and one of my friends came to me. I've known him since I was 10 years old, and I'm obviously 47 now. We've known each other for a while. And he's like, Jason, I don't understand how you do what you do. You don't have a regular paycheck. How do you live not knowing where your next money's coming from? And I said, man, I don't know how you do what you do. I said, because you get the same check every 2 weeks. You get a 3% raise every 2 years for cost of living. If you do a really great job, they'll give you a 5% raise. I said, you're 47 years old. If your wife tells you, I want to retire at 65 and go buy a house in Croatia, or I want to go move to this island, you can sit down and do all the numbers, and you know exactly what your net worth is going to be 40 years from now. So that would kill me. If my wife says, hey, I want to buy a second home in Colorado, I'm like, cool, let's go sell some more houses. Let's come up with another idea. Let's build another business. Let's get excited. Let's go make something new. So for me, that's what entrepreneurship, it's the question mark, right? My future isn't planned. It's not laid out on paper. It's not in a spreadsheet, and I can determine where I'm going, and no one else is in charge but me.
That's awesome. And I understand this so good, because this is also something which is so important for me, to really have the freedom to decide or to design my life together with my family and with my friends and in my companies. So because it would be so boring for me, exactly what you just told us, to know, okay, I have every single day the same schedule. I have every single day 9 to 5, every single day in the same office. So this would definitely not be my kind of life. So what is most exciting for you in your business at the moment?
You know, it's really, really interesting. You know, so I've been very fortunate when I came into the real estate sector. You know, let me go backwards to go forward. I have, in both my personal and professional career, you know, everybody takes, you know, small steps, right? They say just keep stepping forward and you'll make where you want to go. I don't believe in small steps. I believe in huge leaps. So like, you know, I think of like Neil Armstrong on the moon when they jump and they move like 30 yards, right? You know, I mean, so for me, I don't want incremental growth. I want barn burning huge ideas where you go from 1 million to 20 million. And so I'm always thinking bigger. And, you know, we talked about this in when you and I had the conversation a while back. My business is a machine. And when I'm building this machine, the goals that I'm putting out in front of me have to be so big that right now I'm literally not capable of that goal. So what I'm most excited about right now is the fact that we have been able to diversify ourselves by having multiple companies. You know, I don't, you know, they talk about don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? You know, because if you drop it, everything's died. I don't want to just be in real, just commercial, or just renovation and fixing. You know, now I'm in multiple facets that I can diversify what I'm doing. But right now, my pet, my baby, is Rift.com, which is a technology platform that we are launching in combination. People who are listening to this probably know them and have heard those names. Grant Cardone, I think right now has somewhere in the area of $5.2 billion in multifamily residential holdings. You know, he's obviously been a mega star in, you know, kind of coming from nothing and becoming, you know, this huge person, this icon. But again, I'm not a Kool-Aid drinker. I don't follow Grant because I'm supposed to. I follow Grant because I like the way he does business. Mm-hmm. I like his ideas. I like his energy. But so we came up with Rift.com, and I took it to Jared Yellen and Grant Cardone. I had met them through another relationship that I had with Mike Searock. And, you know, I told him, I was like, listen, I've got this idea that's too big for me. You know, I can't do this. You know, I know what it is. I know what it looks like. I know where it goes. I don't know how to make it. You know, so that's what I'm most excited about right now is Rift.com. And this is a platform we've been working on for 9 months. It's actually going to go live the beginning of August. And it is going to revolutionize the way that buyers and sellers transact residential real estate in the United States. This is going to be a multi-billion-dollar company when we're done with it.
That's awesome. You definitely, the people definitely will want to know how you can connect with them or how they can connect with you, because I know a little bit from your story already what you're building here, and believe me, it's super huge what Jason is building here. So it's really, really super interesting. Last question for today, because this is something what is always something I'm thinking so much about, because I told you I also have multiple companies. I founded 6 different companies over the last 22 years. And
do more, Stefan, do more.
That's the plan. That's the plan, my friends. And a lot of people ask, hey, how do you handle this? I mean, I have one company. I don't even know how to structure one business, one venture. I have no employees, or I have a couple of employees. I don't know how to deal with this. So you're also in this situation. So you also created multiple companies. You have different companies, different ventures at one time. You're creating a tech startup, $1 billion new company. How do you handle these different ventures all on one time?
I think the most important word, if I was going to find one word that helps me handle this, it's humility. And what I mean is that so many entrepreneurs feel like they're the only one that can do it. I need to handle everything. I need to take care of everything. And when you become humble and you realize that you're not the most important person in the room, it might be your company, it might be your idea. I love to surround myself with people that are smarter than me. I tell people all the time, I'm really good at what I do, but that's not what I do. So I'm interested, if I was going to try to fix the culture within my team, we don't need it, but if we needed it, I'm not going to try to fix it. I'm going to call you, right? If I'm trying to build a website, I'm not going to go learn how to make a website. I'm going to go hire somebody, so in our industry, right? So every time you list a property for sale in residential real estate, you need to put out signs, you need to put out lock boxes, you need to make flyers. I hire somebody for all of that. That's not where my talents lie. So my biggest suggestion to anyone would be, first of all, when you're starting a business, you need to reinvest more than you take. If that company's making $100,000 net, you should not be consuming more than 40,000 of that, and 60,000 of that should be going back into the company to hire people, to put the right people in the right places, to create processes so that you're still spending quality time with your wife at night, you're still seeing your kids. One of the reasons I came into this business is because I had been an entrepreneur for 14 years and I was doing it all. I was doing my marketing, my advertising, my media, my website creation, teaching, everything. I did it all. And I woke up one day, my daughter was a senior in high school. She was getting ready to go to college and I missed everything. I wasn't there. And I had 2 more kids going into intermediate school and high school. And I realized I have a very small time to change my profession, go sell something else, go do something else, so that when they look back on life, they remember that I was actually there. So I'm very, very cognizant of putting the right people in the right places and understanding that I don't need to have my fingers in every pie. I don't need to be an expert on every facet of my business. I need to be a leader. I need to lead the way. I need to have time. My father's a professional airline pilot, and he always talked about the 35,000 foot view, the way you see the world from 35,000 feet. And that's how I need to see my business. If I'm down on the ground and I'm in the trenches and I'm doing all the work, I have no idea what my business looks like, especially with multiple businesses.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is that always be thinking about scaling. Because if you're constantly looking at this getting bigger, you're going to be much more aware of the fact that what you're doing right now won't work. If you've got 10 clients and you can take care of 10 clients, and you're trying to get that 11th client, well, if I'm doing 10, I can take care of 11. But if I have 10 clients and I say I need 100 clients, I know I can't take care of 100 clients. So I'm thinking scaling, I immediately know that I need to grow horizontally before I can grow vertically. I've got to build that foundation, and that foundation, and this more than anybody, the foundation of every business is people. It's people. It's getting outside of us. And, I might be the idea guy. I might be the one with big balls and I'm willing to go spend money and create new ideas, do all this other stuff. But I need people. And that is where the growth comes from. That's where the scaling comes from. That's where the quality of life comes from. My wife asked me like 2 weeks ago, she said, Jason, when are we going to get to a point where everyone on the team's not calling you? I said, never. I said, I want them to call me. I said, but as the team grows, everyone underneath them will be calling them. I'm only ever going to talk to these people because the next people, I'm going to cultivate these people up so that everyone else is coming underneath going to them. And then they only call me if they can't answer that question or they can't fix that problem. Yeah. So for me, I think if I was going to just break that back down, if you're in a singular business, first of all, at least twice a year, you need to sit down for a day, a solid day, and rip your business apart. And look at everything that you're doing, everything that you're not doing. How are you performing, and what is that scale, and who are you building up underneath you? And we talk about this on our podcast all the time, is that, there's an old saying, I don't know where it came from. It said, if a leader is walking, if a leader has no one following, they're merely taking a walk. Right. So if I'm out there and I'm this big leader and I've got this big organization and no one's coming in behind me, I'm not a leader. I'm a solopreneur. Right. And I'm just out there by myself, and that's not scalable. So humility, people, and scaling are the ways that I think, even if you're right now just in one business, you've got to think bigger, because, grow big or die is really what it is.
This is super interesting. Let me ask you a short question here. Was this transition easy for you to be the solopreneur who is doing everything on his own, to, okay, I am going to reinvest a lot of money into my business. I'm going to take the risk of hiring people or working together with people, because we know that I think 98% of all companies all around the world are solopreneurs. Just one person, not a single employee, nobody. And they never ever get across this line that they really can scale their business, or that they really can hire people. Was it easy?
So I think that there's two statements there. I think that a lot of solopreneurs are solo because they're in the wrong business. Not every business is scalable, right? Some businesses, it's only enough to feed one mouth. But I think that once you've learned how to be an entrepreneur and you become really honest with yourself, if you can look back at your business and say, there's not a way to make this big enough, you need to take the time and be honest with yourself and say, what else? What am I going to do? What's my pivot? Where am I going? I can take this knowledge. I can take my salesmanship. I can take my energy and my drive. What's my new product? Right. So I think that's one thing, is being honest with yourself about, is your idea viable? But then I think for me, that pivot point, you asked how easy it was, is I learned from necessity, because I was running a business and I was dying. The business was mediocre. It was okay at best. And I was doing everything. And so I got so in the weeds and so behind on being able to run it the right way, that I got to have somebody smarter than me. And so I went and found the same person that was in the industry, the exact same industry as me. And I wanted to go find the biggest, meanest, baddest guy in the room that was doing great. And I went and just opened my checkbook and said, tell me how to do what you're doing. I opened myself to that. And then that's when I realized that, everything is a business. You're a business. Right? Even if you're working at IBM, or you work at Boeing or Lockheed Martin, or some big company, Jason Franklin is a business. How am I marketing myself? How am I presenting myself? What am I doing? And so, I learned so much from them. And then from that point forward, once I had that breakthrough, and at that time, I think I paid, I don't know, like $3,000 or $5,000 to have this guy teach me how to do this stuff, which was, I almost couldn't make my house payment, but that was a huge investment for me, right? But then I learned so much from it that it just opened my eyes to the fact of, I've always got to have somebody directly in front of me that is performing at a level much higher than I am. Because if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room.
That's awesome. Jason, I could go on and on and on and on, but let's stop here, because I know you have such an incredible podcast, and we will definitely take your podcast to here, because the people should reach out to you. So what's the best way to connect with you? If somebody wants to get in contact with you, reach out to you, listen to your podcast.
They can, for our technology launch, they can find me at jason@rift.com. That's REIFT. It stands for a real estate shift. We're going to mess things up. And it's jason@rift.com. They can find us on our podcast at Expedition U. That's YOU. And that is on Spotify. It'll be on iTunes very soon. and they can always just reach out to me personally on the email. And I look for Facebook. I'm under Jason Franklin. We've got multiple, so I won't bore you with the 15 different Facebooks we have. But look forward to anyone that wants to reach out. I love talking business, love mentoring. I love the opportunity to talk with anybody that wants to reach out.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much again. Yeah, really, really appreciate taking the time for the interview. And I wish you all the best for all your ventures. And yeah, we definitely stay connected.
Absolutely, Stefan. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you. And for all of you listeners, you heard it, how you can deal with it. Just reach out to us. We are here to help you, and have a great day and a successful venture. All the best. Talk soon.